You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, turn.
Freaking stop it.
All right, ready? Let's do this. All right. What's up, Layla?
Hi, Brian.
It's good to see you today.
I missed you so much.
You missed
I
me.
missed you so much.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. We have a lot to talk about. It's been a while since we've had a one-on-one catch up.
I
So there's
know.
a lot. I have some fucking surprises for you, for sure. Because I know you're gonna ask me about some things, and I can't wait to
Well, I keep
update you.
asking you, and you're like, "Oh, we'll talk about it on the pod."
I'm like, guys, Layla is always like, what's happening with this? And I say, save it for the podcast because
So
I want to see your reaction.
I want all the deets.
All right. So, okay. So
I'm gonna
first,
get comfortable.
yeah, get comfortable. The first thing I wanted to say was like, all right, I don't know if I talked about this on the podcast, but have I talked about winning the trip to Mexico?
I don't remember if we talked about it or
All
not.
right. For people who haven't heard it, we brought a guest on. It was the producers and the lead actors for this movie called You, Me, Her, which is in theaters right now. They just came out on Valentine's Day, right? But last year we went to a screening for it at like Pleasure Med, and they were giving away a free trip to Mexico.
hmm
And they were raffling it off, and we had a few tickets between us. Layla, you actually won earrings
I won some
or
jewelry.
jewelry. You won
Super cute.
jewelry. And then I just happened to win the free trip to Mexico. So it was kind of crazy. It was like a 3 or 4 night stay or 3 night stay.
It's
We're
wild.
going next month. So we booked the dates. But okay, so that was last year.
Right.
Okay. So then as the release was coming out, they were asking us to help, drive people to some of the screenings. They had all these screenings set up all over the country leading up to February 14th. And I didn't know this, but there was one in Santa Monica, and we brought a bunch of Simmer users too. And at some point, they were like, all right, surprise, everyone. We're giving away a trip to Mexico.
Again.
Again, right? Okay, so the way it went down, I was like, man, we brought 10 members, I think, to the show. So I was like, okay, there's 150 people here. We have a decent shot at winning again.
hmm
And then they said, all right, everyone in row H, raise your hand. And I see all these hands in my row start going up. And I'm like, no way. Now I have a 1 in 10 chance of winning another trip to Mexico. So it got crazy. I was like, how crazy? They would make me give it back. I feel like you're not allowed to
But you'd have
win
to gift it.
twice.
Yeah.
So we didn't win, but Yosef from Mystery Temple, who's also been on the podcast, won a trip to Mexico.
He won?
He won.
Shut up.
He won. So it
was he stoked?
he was so stoked. It was like the whole crowd was jumping up. The whole row was jumping up and down because like these are all non-monogamous people with a high level of compersion.
Right.
So we all felt like we all won the trip to Mexico. And like what an ROI. He was like so lit up that he got to go, that he's gonna get to go. They get a whole year to book the trip. And so it was an awesome event. It just never, it goes to show like when you see events out there, just show up.
Yeah.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Well,
And it was
non-monogamous people are so lucky. Like, good luck.
Yo, so lucky. And like, the film's about exploring non-monogamy in Mexico. So now they're actually sending 2 non-monogamous couples to Mexico to like
That's
test
so
it out.
cute.
To test it out. So I'm pumped for him. And you know how you found out about it? Through our Instagram.
Dope. Follow our Instagram, you guys.
He found out about it through our Instagram.
We're always
we
posting
posted
events.
and said we had some tickets on Instagram. He jumped on it. He won a trip to Mexico.
Proud of him. I'm really proud of him. That's super cool.
Gotta pay attention.
I know.
We're not stingy. We will anytime something cool comes out, we will give it to you guys.
Oh, don't
We
worry.
promise.
Yeah, we'll
Better
talk.
like and subscribe.
You better.
Anyway. Layla. I want to ask your advice on something.
Yeah, what's that?
So, you know this about me. Like the way I got into non-monogamy was basically I was a sex traveler, right? Like
Right.
I would do naughty stuff outside the country,
Mhm.
then come back, be a good little boy, and then leave the country again and wall out and come back. And one of the places that activated that for me was Brazil.
Right?
I went to Brazil 10 years ago, and I know that because that's when that's when I got my visa. And I would go to Brazil, have a blast, come back. I have not been to Brazil in 4 years. So like I've never been married.
Oh,
I've never been while I'm married, right?
okay.
And I always told myself if I go back to Brazil, I'm definitely taking my wife with me because I don't know how to be in Brazil by myself if I'm married.
How is Brazil different than like LA in regard to lifestyle? Like, what do you what
It was less like I wasn't in lifestyle. Brazil's just like sex is everywhere in Brazil. Like it's a conservative country actually. So I don't want people to think like all Brazilians are like super freaks,
Right.
right? But uh prostitution's legal. And there's
Oh,
brothels all over the place. There's massage houses all over the place. And so if you are a tourist trying to get into some wild things, there's a ton of options for you outside of just trying to meet someone at a bar. Plus, it's like a very open culture. Like you can go out, start dancing with someone, they'll make out with you immediately. It's kind of like saying hello. So there's this like open sexuality to it, which I think would make it tough as a person in a relationship to go to Brazil
uh-huh.
alone and still be faithful.
Okay, okay. I have
I was
things
actually
to
looking at this before we recorded. Some of the highest cheating rates in the world are in Brazil. It's highest in the US. So it's not like, oh, they're higher, they're like worse
Right,
than us,
right.
but it's up there.
Okay,
It's
so
up
what's your
there.
question?
I have to go to Brazil this year.
By yourself?
Yep. And I am just like, it's more so like I'm trying to work out. There is this country that has a special place in my heart. I'm going for someone else's birthday. My wife can't go. I almost don't want to go because I'm like afraid to go without my wife.
Wha Okay,
And I think that it's super interesting because I know the man I am today can commit to whatever and just get it done,
right.
right? But I'm scared. I'm low-key scared to go to Brazil.
Okay, so what are you allowed like, I hate using the word allowed, but, like, what have you guys agreed
Well,
that you
we
can
we haven't
do?
we haven't had a conversation at all. I think the biggest
I feel
breakthrough.
like that's all that
Well,
always happens when I'm like, "So what did you guys
no,
agree on?" You're like,
I'm
"I don't
talking to you
nothing."
first. I'm talking to you first. Look, she knows that I'm going. I
Okay.
I think the biggest breakthrough for me would be to go and do nothing. It would be to like establish a new relationship with Brazil.
Is that what you would
I
like?
I mean, that's what I'm telling you right now. Like that's where I am. Like, what would be the biggest impact on my life for my personal growth and like my belief in myself would be like I went to Brazil. I went for my buddy's birthday. We just focused on his birthday stuff, and that was it.
Mhm,
And didn't play with anyone.
mhm,
That would be like I think in my head would feel like I would hold my head high. I'd come back, feel proud of myself.
mhm.
Like I did it. Now I have a different relationship with South America.
Ooh, I know how you can make it easier.
How?
Get an STD.
Like the worst advice. If your coach, if your therapist tells you that as a solution, fire them.
It's easy. I don't know what your problem is. No, well, my first of all, I have a couple of follow-up questions. How
Yeah.
how long are you there?
I mean, I haven't booked it yet, so I'm probably gonna be there for like 5 days.
Okay. Are the it's all men?
No, so he put a group together, and I think there's men and women in his group that he's putting together.
Are they in the lifestyle?
None of them.
Okay.
It's not a lifestyle friend. It's a you know,
Okay. An older
it's a
friend.
vanilla friend. Even though our friend Vanessa said, let's
I
not
know,
say the
don't say
word
vanilla.
vanilla, but
Okay.
it's a non-monogamous friend.
So where's the challenge? Is the challenge you're laying in bed at night and you're like, I want to go to a brothel or something. And so like that would be difficult for you to not go.
I think that the temptation to go is 100% gonna pop up in my mind.
Mm,
And I mean, I'm being vulnerable with you about it. I'm
mm.
going to have a conversation with my wife about it before this
Yeah.
comes out. I'm not gonna let her hear about it on the podcast
Right.
first. But it's like, I think part of it is owning in me that like here's an edge for me. This is something that I used to be.
Mhm.
And there's going to be a challenge. I guess it would be like if you were going to Oktoberfest or something, knowing like people go to Oktoberfest to get fucked up off beer the whole time,
Right.
it would trigger the part of you that like would love to have a drink, right?
Right. Well, before when you had traveled to Brazil, your intentions with going in there were very different than what your intentions would be this time around, right? Like your intention, you were traveling to fuck, right?
It's kind of funny because the first time I went, it wasn't. The first time I went, I just wanted to explore Brazil. I heard it was a phenomenal country. I wanted to try the food. I wanted to hang out on the beach. I was traveling to different towns and wanted to get lost in the forest and stuff like
Mhm.
that. There was like a wholesome viewpoint I had of it. And then the shitty thing that happened was like I ran into some friends down there and they were doing a brothel tour of South America. They had gone to like
That's fun.
Argentina, to Colombia, now they're in Brazil. And so they exposed me to this world I had no idea existed.
Mm.
And it kind of like, it was a very transformative experience for me. It was formative in that it opened me up to sexuality in a way. Like I
Mhm.
had my first threesome. So great. Now we're here. But now I'm trying to go back
Mhm.
and not do what but every trip after that, yeah, I knew that that was there.
Mhm.
So then I would pick countries to go to based on where I could have a blast. That's what sex travelers do, I think,
Right.
right? Or at
I
least that form of it.
so I think it's going to be easier that it's not lifestyle people, right? I imagine that they're going to have a lot of things on the agenda, you know? I I think it might be beneficial to journal maybe a little bit and look a little bit more inward on why you want to change the narrative on Brazil, right? And like why you would want to change all that. I just think that I think this is deeper than like surface stuff of I don't want to go to brothels, I don't want to do this. Do you have any general idea of like where this is coming from? This is deeper than this.
It is, and I'm trying to think about what it might be. The That's such a good what is it? Part of it might be that maybe the brothel thing does not feel ethical. Like the first
Mhm.
letter in E&M is E, which is
Mhm.
ethical. So part of it is like, do I feel a certain as an adult now, do I feel a certain type of way about like going to a brothel or going to a massage parlor that I didn't used to feel, even if it is legal? Like better. Like people are getting like taken advantage of in these places, and
Mhm.
like if they had the choice, they would probably be doing something else with their time.
Mhm.
And so I think there's like a certain amount of tension that is like personal moral base, I
Mhm.
think, that I'm feeling. So I don't know if I'll have man, that's such a good question, Layla. I really do have to dig. I mean, do you have any questions for me that might help me process what
Mhm.
is the underlying concern?
Honestly, I feel like it's something really deep, so I'd probably have to sit and digest it more. When do you leave?
Oh, this is in May.
Oh, thank God.
But the
Okay.
fact that I'm even thinking about it today is what because I'm thinking
Yeah.
about it today because I I get to book a flight.
Right.
And so I'm already thinking, like, even in your question of how long you're gonna be there,
Uh-huh.
in my mind is like, I don't wanna be there that long.
Okay. I have an idea. I have a a little exercise idea.
All right.
So let's play the tape through. Let's say you go with intention to play. With you don't have intentions of trying to grow and develop differently in this regard at all. You're gonna go. You're gonna play. You're gonna have fun.
Okay.
W- Give me a scenario of how that may play out.
Okay, so this is me if I'm not trying to stop
Right.
myself, like, if I played out how it might go down.
Yes.
Oh, it might be like, we go to a beach club, meet some girl at the beach club, and decide we wanna, like, connect or, like, take her back.
Hmm.
It could be which is exciting, like, we love finding fun in the wild, right?
Hmm.
It might sound like I don't know who he has in the house with him, right? Who all these other Brazilian people are going. It's the Brazilians I'm worried about. It's not the Americans. It's like the Brazilian people that are there that I'm worried about. So like, which Brazilian women does he already have that he's like inviting to his birthday events, right?
Hmm.
And do I end up hitting it off with one of them?
Let's say
Is
you do. What does that look like?
in terms of how that would go?
Mhm.
I don't know. Just like a couple drinks, we'd probably be dancing and then like end up making out.
Okay.
Yep.
And then what?
So this is the funny thing. Like, I actually don't think I would sleep with anyone. But I just don't wanna cheat, like, I don't wanna cheat. That's just it.
Yeah.
But
So your
it's
wife doesn't want you to play with anyone is
we
what you're because I'm just confused. I get so confused by y'all's dynamic and like what you're, quote,
we
allowed to do
haven't
and what you're not. So
we
I
we
don't know.
haven't had the conversation. If I wanted to do something or like I wanted the way the conversation would go with my wife is like him I would have the conversation kind of like I'm having with you. We're going to Brazil. I have this like, give me a sandbox that you feel comfortable with, and that is the sandbox that I'll operate in,
Mhm.
right? I think that's probably what I get to the conversation I get to have with my wife. I think what I'm trying to say right now is like, I might personally want a sandbox that is like more strict than what my wife would even give me
Mhm.
so that have more growth here, right?
It seems like this entire year thus far has been you challenging yourself.
For sure.
And so this is a very big opportunity to challenge yourself.
This feels like the final exam of the last like 5 years of personal development that I've done.
Right.
Exactly. It's like
Right.
in the fire,
Uh-huh.
the biggest fire I can imagine is like going back to the sandy beaches of Brazil
Mm.
and showing up as a different man.
So let's do another tape. So let's say you have a sandbox where you're like, I'm not going to even kiss anybody new. I am going to pretend like I am monogamous on this trip. And if you were to succumb to some hot Brazilian girl in the club, how might you feel with like the next day or when you got home?
I think I'd feel like a failure. I would
Mm,
feel like if I can't get through 5 days of this, can I get through the rest of my life? Like in
mm,
keeping my word, you know?
mhm. So is the fear of failure stronger than your desires, your sexual desires?
Is my fear of failure stronger than my sexual desires? Is my fear of failure like which one will have more like which one will win out?
Mhm,
I would say my fear of failure wins out all the time. Otherwise, I would just be doing crazy shit, right? You know what I'm saying? So that must outweigh it.
mhm,
I almost like, and maybe this is like unrealistic. I wanna you deal with substance all the time, right? So if my substance is women,
mhm,
right? It might be unreasonable for me to think that the desire isn't gonna pop up.
mhm,
Like I'm gonna be in a place where I have an experience. It's going to pop up.
mhm.
What's my plan on how to handle that?
Exactly. Exactly. Because, for example, in AA, we recommend that people don't go to the bar for the first year or two when they're just getting sober, right? And it sounds like you're challenging yourself and now you're being thrown into a bar with hot girls,
Yep.
And so if let's say I was sponsoring somebody who needed to go to a bar for some reason, right? I would tell her to call 3 alcoholics beforehand and to call 3 alcoholics after. And I would say get a wine glass and fill it with cranberry juice so you have something to hold, you have something to kind of keep your mind off of it. Um, so when it comes to this type of situation, how do you think that might be like how can we apply that to what you're doing?
I think it would be I think one, I think like leaning into my partner about it
Mhm,
would be great. It would probably create like a level of openness and transparency of like, hey, this is something I'm going through right now. And I'm being open about it such that I don't act on it.
mhm,
I think also so it's not overwhelming to her, having a couple of other people, like accountability partners around this would be supportive.
mhm,
And I think I could like I don't want to distract my friend from his birthday,
right.
but he's also there on the ground and might be like a phenomenal partner in that.
Right, right. Well, I'm here to be your support in that way. If you want that, like I imagine that might be difficult, but we've talked on the pod before about, heat of the moment situations where we're like, oh, that's future Brian's problem because this heat of the moment is so hot and raw and like I just need to fucking have it. W- When and if that happens, you have to have a plan.
Okay. Okay. I'm with you on that.
Hmm.
So I get to well, when I get to have the conversation with my partner and then we get to develop a plan.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm
That's my
proud of you
homework.
though. I think this is really cool
What?
that you're like challenging yourself in this way.
I just like if I think the biggest fear is like, man, if I go and I can't handle this, then like is all the work I've done bullshit?
Mm.
You know?
This is like the final boss.
Yo, this is like level 8 of Super Mario Bros. For me in my life.
Right.
I know it might be
This is
trivial
this
to
is your
other people.
Bowser.
Yeah.
Mhm. And you're gonna do it, and you're gonna nail it, and you're gonna come back, and you're gonna feel amazing and so fucking proud of yourself. It's gonna be really cool.
All right. We will
He's like,
update
enough
people.
vulnerability,
No, we
guys.
will
Let's
like
talk
I
about
think I could
sex
do
and
it. Like
boobs.
no, okay, but look, I'm not the only one going through stuff like this.
Yeah.
You're experiencing some growth
Mhm.
in you because a couple episodes ago, we were talking about your husband and the relationship he's in
Yeah.
and whether you need to be friends with the women that he's dating.
Right.
And we went back and forth with that. And then we basically left was like, maybe you do need to be friends.
Mhm.
So what have you found out?
So, yeah, I mean, I was pretty confident leaving, the studio being like, "Yeah, like, I think I do. I think Brian's right. I think I have to have some type of friendship with whoever my husband's dating." Um, and I trying to decide, like, how much I can say.
I, I mean, I just admitted to visiting brothels in South America. Like, I think you can go as far as
Yeah,
you
but
want
people in
here.
those brothels aren't listening to the
They
podcast.
correct. This is true. Not that we know of.
Um, I think as I've gotten to know this girl more, I've realized it's not necessarily that I need a deeper friendship with her, but I am so I psychoanalyze everybody. And I always have. And it's something I've more so recently discovered that I do, and more so recently discovered that people aren't doing. Because I I will meet somebody and I'm like, body language, tone, this, that, like little bits and pieces. And I'm like, they're like this. They're this type. And I have thousands of types of people in my repertoire in my head. And I couldn't get her. And then I was like, okay, I'll get her next time. And then we'd just hang out and I'm like, who is this? I
Mm.
can't clock her at all. So her and I hung out. We went to a breathworks class together. And you know, first she invited me and I was like, I know how to breathe. Thanks. But I'll go, I guess.
Wait. So she olive branched you and was like, "Hey, do
Yeah.
you want to do something?" And you're
Yeah.
like, "I know, like, fuck
I can
you."
breathe. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. But I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go. People keep talking about how breathworks is super fucking chill. And so I went and it was actually really fucking chill,
Yeah,
dude.
no shit,
I didn't have you
dummy.
done one?
Yeah, I've done hella breath work.
Wha I'm like, Ian, I'm like,
Okay.
what?
What do you remember any of the breath work they taught you? Like,
Yeah,
was it a count?
so like we did 25 of like the breaths where you like, you know, belly and then chest where you're like and do that 25 times with your
Okay.
eyes closed and then you like tense your fists and your body and your butt and everything. You
Uh-huh.
tense it while you're laying down and you hold your breath for like a minute and a
Yeah.
half. And dude, I was like I was
You
tripping.
felt high, huh?
What the
Yeah. You
fuck?
feel high.
I felt high,
Yo.
which I love.
I know.
So
So you're like, "How dare she invite me to something I'm gonna love?"
dumb bitch. I'm just like loving breathing now. But it was cool because then we cold plunge afterwards, and you're totally oxygenated. And I cold plunge every day anyway, so I was like, I got this. But it was an entirely different experience going in after I'm all oxygenated, and then we go in the hot tub, and then cold plunge, and then hot tub, and it was amazing. And then afterwards, we talked in my car for a while, and she shared a little bit more of herself with me, and it felt very authentic and real and raw. And I went, that she's that.
Got it.
And I went, I feel better.
So now that you know her, now that
Mhm.
you get like, okay, she's in their breath work. Now I can kind of read her a bit. Do you still need to be
It
friends
had
with her?
nothing to do with breath work. It had everything to do with like of the vibes that she was giving. Like she let go of that wall
Yeah.
that I needed her to let go of. If she did, and I was able to truly see who she was,
Uh-huh.
and I was able to clock kind of a general idea of who she was, and then I was like, okay, have a blast. See you around. You know?
Wait, so you're saying now you realize you don't need to
Mhm.
you're friends with her now,
Yeah, we're friends,
but you
but
don't
you know,
need to
we
be
don't.
besties with
Right.
her.
We don't like. You know, it. I would hang out with her again, sure, but I don't need to.
You know what? I'm proud of you.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you for going to a breathwork class.
I know. You guys watch this, watch this, watch this. That was pretty
What?
impressive.
Okay,
Wasn't that
that was just
good?
some breath.
I
Were
know.
you trying to tell people that
I've been practicing
your
my
lungs are
breathing.
open now?
Also, my lungs are abnormally long,
Oh
according
my
to
god.
doctors.
If you don't stop, if you keep judging yourself on every time we get on the podcast one on one, you have found another disorder about yourself.
No, I like this one though.
You like this
Yeah,
disorder.
yeah.
You
I can breathe better than you.
you should be a swimmer then.
No, thank you.
So, I can't. I'm gonna go back and watch all the podcasts. I'm gonna make a list of all the things you've
All my
dropped.
disorders.
Like, you know what it is? My lungs are too long.
My lungs are too
How
long.
lungs? How are lungs too long?
No,
Aren't
my
lungs
lungs.
wide?
They can be long, they can be different shapes, but I have long lungs because when I had bronchitis a couple of weeks ago, I went to the hospital and the X-ray guy was like, "Your lungs are really long. Holy cow!"
The X-ray guy said that.
Yeah,
That's who you're taking this from. The X-ray guy.
yeah. What do you? He looks at lungs all the
I've
time.
just Layla.
You don't trust my
I
X-ray guy?
love you, and you're one of my best friends.
Whatever.
I've never ever heard someone say their lungs were long.
I can hold my breath for a really long time, and I vape. Are you
Do you
impressed?
think Michael Phelps has long lungs?
I'm sure.
You think that's the secret to his
Yeah,
success?
yeah.
People,
I always love it when Brian looks directly
can
into the
can
people.
someone fact check this for us? Does Michael Phelps? I've heard he had long arms,
Uh-huh.
long torso.
Mhm.
I don't know if that meant he had longer lungs, but you know what, Layla? We're just gonna roll with this.
Yeah, what's wrong with it?
But I want to see the X-rays.
Okay.
But I'm proud of you though for
Thank
trying this,
you.
dude. Okay, fire breathing is kind of like what you were
Mhm.
doing. It is. I did a trance dance once, blindfolded, fire breath for 45 minutes, high as fuck, like seeing ancestors and shit.
That's so cool.
Because you do hyperventilate and you do get high off your own breath.
Yeah,
It's like high on your own supply.
right. My people have told me that my whole life, and I'm like, you obviously haven't done drugs.
Nah, it's way different and you hyperventilate yourself. I've been wanting, so I had thrown this out to like one of the chats for a while. I was like, hey, listen, me and my facilitator guys could probably run a trance dance, like a 2 hour
Are you saying
trance dance for
what's a
people.
trance dance? I keep thinking you're saying tramp stamps. Trance
Trance,
dance.
TRANCE.
Okay. I don't know what you're saying or what it
I
means.
know people don't know that it's like it's fire breath. Like breathing is phenomenal. There's so much stuff you can do with breathing. I love that you. Are you going to continue breathing?
I think so. Yeah, I'm breathing right now. I think I'm doing
No,
pretty good.
no. Like, are you going to do a breathing practice? Are you going to like do Wim Hof and then hop in before you hop into your cold plunge? Now,
Mhm.
did you leave it like, all right, let me do some breath work before I do it?
Yeah, so what I've been doing every morning is I am my right hand is dominant. So every morning I've been waking up and brushing my teeth with my left hand, telling myself in the mirror, looking myself in the eye and saying I love you 10 times and then doing 25 deep breaths and that's how I start my day and I've just never been more glorious.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
I'm just growing.
Is this a growth episode?
I think so, you
That's not the
guys.
intention, but okay.
I think it kind of is.
To grow
Yeah.
together.
Look,
That's
yeah.
so funny. Yeah, I guess even when it's hot talk, someone's growing.
Yep.
That was a dick joke if no one got it.
Oh, that was good. Good
Okay.
job, Ray.
All right. All right. So after our last episode, um I was rapid firing you dating app ideas.
Oh, right.
And you were shooting them down like flies.
Sorry,
And
they were stewing.
I was so
No, I'm just
pissed off about it.
kidding.
But then we're not gonna say what the idea is, but someone did DM us a phenomenal dating app idea. And we were like, no, never thought about that. So keep ideas coming if you have them, because y'all are geniuses and we are just realizing this about all of our listeners.
Yes.
Um, but then Layla, you were like, what's one thing you hate the most about dating apps? You
Mhm,
asked me this, and I was like, I do have an answer for this. And it's specifically for E&M dating apps, like Field. It doesn't happen on Simmer as much, but like Field and 3Fun especially, right? The thing I hate the most is when someone doesn't have photos up, or it's like either they're blurred out or it's like cut off from the neck,
mhm.
and then they say, um, "When we match, we'll share photos with you."
I don't have time for that. Yeah, it's the
Why
worst.
do you hate it?
Well, one, I'm like, "Oh, you think you're that important? Okay. What are you, the president? Like, relax. Like, you're not important." And then second of all, I am like, I and all women have thousands of people that are liking them, and I already don't have time to even find the hotties. So you really think I'm gonna open a profile that doesn't show a face? I'm not even doing it.
So you don't even match with them.
No, no, I don't have
See,
time.
all
Because I would
right.
hate to start a dialogue and a conversation, and then he shows me the pics, and I go, "No, thank you."
See, I should be like you. I should just not open them. I should just not match with them. Every once in a while, I get curious though. I'm like, let me just open this present and let me just kind of see. It's kind of like the stepdad that always give you shitty shit, and then like, every Christmas you just open the box hoping this is the year he got it right. And so I always open the box, and then I'm always disappointed.
Mm-mm.
I've never been shocked. It's never been a Cartier bracelet, right?
Mhm.
And then I'm like, well, now what do I do?
Well, yeah, because
This is
your
awkward.
stepdad is giving you an old shoebox, right? Like, I am not gonna open a box unless it's, like, Cartier, right? So if I am already imagining that people that aren't showing their faces, from my personal experience only, I'll speak for that, is they're I don't think I've ever been happy.
That's the thing. I've never been happy. And then sometimes they don't even like, all right, if I match with you, just send me the pictures immediately.
Right.
Don't make me like have a conversation with you or message you. You know you don't have photos up.
Right.
So we could start this whole thing off by you just sending me the fucking pictures.
Can I tell you something
But they
that's
don't.
worse?
What?
What's even worse is when I get liked by someone in my area, absolutely gorgeous, and I'm like, "Yes," and I'm scrolling down, and their bio is like, "We'll do this later," or like,
Oh,
or,
oh
uh,
yeah.
or just
Like,
just ask me.
yeah. Like I will fill this out when I have more time.
I run across that all the time. I will never, mark my words, I will never match with someone that won't put a bio because if they're that boring in bed.
So, so so if there's no bio, you just skip it,
Yep,
even if they're hot.
yep. I swipe left every fucking time. Every
So
fucking
then would you
time.
filter and be like, if they don't have a bio, don't even show them to me?
That'd be great. But here's the thing. Then they'll put in their bio, just ask me.
So I guess a filter that says must have face pics would also be helpful for you.
Maybe. The thing is that like I'm usually not even I'm usually only looking through my likes. I'm not doing the regular feeds
You know, so we built this feature and we never did anything with it.
on
And
Simmer.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, you can blur your photos, and we built this like blur feature, right? That's like, all right, you upload your photos of you, Layla,
Mm.
and we will auto blur it. But the moment you send someone a like, it will unblur it.
Genius.
And so they will like for the person who got the like, they can look at it and decide before they even like you. So there's no more awkward matches, right? The problem is like, so we built this feature, but then because of the community we're building, most people had face photos anyway.
Mhm.
And so we didn't put it out. I what I want to do is just like throw it out there and see what happens. I'm just gonna email everybody and be like, hey, do you want to try this? The reason I didn't put it out is, and I'm curious what people think about this. So I do want to put a clip out about it, but I don't want to encourage people to hide their face. And I was worried that the
Oh.
feature would encourage face hiding. But I think that like people who don't hide their face are already not gonna hide it. And the people
Mm.
that are already are. So give them a
Right.
feature for it,
And
right?
people that are good looking don't wanna hide that.
Do you think it's always the good looking thing? Because they always say like to protect my identity.
Well, it's either that or they're not cute. Yeah, no, I think people that are really hot, don't wanna hide themselves.
All right, I want to do a poll.
Okay.
I want to do a poll on our Instagram.
Okay.
Okay. I love how Nat's here. She's in the back. Hi
Write
Nat.
this down.
Write this down, Nat. So I want to do a poll, and I want the poll to ask people like when they don't show their pictures, do you agree? Like, do you think it's because they were trying to hide their identity or because they were not cute? And I
Mm.
want to see what the audience thinks because I know what they say. They say
Mhm.
it's to hide their identity.
Well, right, but anybody that they could run into on any sort of E&M app, those people are also on an E&M app. So what are you afraid of? Are
That's
you
what I'm
afraid of being an
saying.
uggo? Because that's what it is.
Look, I mean, there might be psycho
The sound
people
of
that are
singing.
like, I'm gonna go on Grinder to figure out which of my employees are on Grinder so I can fire them because they're gay. But like,
What?
if your boss is that psycho, like you know they're psycho. Like just go like that. That would not be the first hint that they're psycho.
Right,
I think you
right.
should leave and go behind another job anyway,
Mhm.
if that's what you're afraid of. So I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
with you. I don't think I don't think your pastors are spending their weekends on field trying to figure out who of you are on field. I don't think they have time for that. I think they're praying and running the church.
Mhm. I might cut this. I saw my, my husband's, ex AA sponsor on one of those apps.
Okay.
And it was his sponsor, like, when him and I first got together and he was relapsing and not in the blah, blah, blah. And so, like, this person was, like, instrumental in helping my husband and, like, guiding him and being like a, like a father figure type thing to him. And, I run into him on an app and I'm like, oh, this is so wrong. So naturally I was like, right, swipe right.
Wait, is that a like?
Huh?
That's like a like, right? You gave him a
Yeah.
like?
Yes.
Yeah, like I think it would be great if you found somebody you knew on apps
I
because
think
then
it's
it's like,
cool.
oh man, shortcut.
You're like, you? You?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
already.
it's like that Spider-Man meme where they're just
That's,
like,
that's what I think. Unless, and if they're hot, yeah, if you're attracted to them, I guess it's a nightmare to run into someone that you don't like.
oh no, no. I match with everybody that I know.
I think you should.
And sometimes I'm like, hey, we're not here to hook up, but like, how cool is this, right? Like you too? I always
Yeah.
connect with someone that I know, whether I want to fuck them or not, because I'm like, this is
So
cool.
I heard this statement recently that was like, don't like you shouldn't try to turn your friends E&M, but
Mhm.
make friends of your E&M friends. Like
Mm.
I butchered that statement
Yeah, I
right
don't get
now.
it.
Okay, don't try to turn your friends non-monogamous.
Right.
Meet people who are non-monogamous and make them your friends.
That's right. And that's a boundary that I have is I don't sleep with any of my vanilla monog friends.
Yeah,
I don't do
us
it.
either. Us either. It gets
Mm-mm.
awkward. But when you find out that they are that way already, then it's like, oh shit, now we can have a different type of friendship.
Right.
Look at this. I love this.
Mm.
All right. We don't have a ton of time. We need to do
Okay.
updates. We
Yeah.
haven't
Yes.
updated people for a while.
Wait, please tell me you have an update on the hot gym couple.
I do, but I'm throwing your game bang at you first.
Okay.
Layla, we are not going to let you. We were 2 months in
Mm.
and you get to have a gangbang.
I
It didn't happen.
know.
Like I'm holding you accountable.
Okay.
We need to make some sort of progress on this. We just have to. We have to do it. It's like childcare? Do you have childcare set up for your gang? Like, I think even if we just picked a date
I
or a
know.
month, it would be
Well,
progress.
I told all the guys that it was gonna be in March, and it's really sweet because so many of those guys have reached out in the last couple weeks being like, "Hey, did you pick a date yet?" And so it's really sweet that they're like, "Well, I'm excited. I wanna do it." And I wanted to make it a weekend out of it because we're calling it a hang bang. Right?
Uh huh.
So it's a hang bang because I don't want just a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I want to like have an experience where we're all together and we have sex and it's hot and it's fun. And then we'll go to the bar and then
You're
we'll go
doing the
back and have sex
Layla, you're trying to
again.
do the most poly gangbang I've ever
I
heard
know. I'm
of.
a little demi
I hate it.
girl.
I hate it. I hate this
Fine, just come
idea.
for the fucking,
But
whatever. You
but
don't want to hang out with me, just say it.
I'm hanging out with you right now. I like hanging out with you. I'm just saying you're doing a poly gangbang.
I So I'm trying to get my parents to watch the kids for the weekend, but they don't like to schedule things that far in advance because they both have like their own businesses and stuff. They don't know what's going to come up. But I have other friends that could probably hang with the kids that I like that have before and that the kids love. So okay, the next time that we record, I'm gonna have a date. I'm not gonna say what it is because we also said where it was gonna be. So
Yeah. I don't want people to know it because we were just to name the hotel, and
right,
I don't want y'all. We love y'all. But we don't want you in the lobby
right.
being like, "Hey, I'm here for
The hang
the
bang.
poly bang,
Stupid.
the poly bang."
So I will have a better update for you
All
next
right,
time.
all right,
Mhm.
deal.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So the gym couple.
Yes.
All right. So for those of you who don't know, my wife and I met a couple at the gym, and we have been trying to figure out if they were non-monogamous or not, or if they were down to try something with us. And so the last time we talked about this, we had told them we were non-monogamous, and they were not down.
Mhm.
Right? They're not at all like not in their headspace. So since then, my wife went to dinner with her.
Right.
They went to dinner by themselves, and she asked my wife a ton of questions about the space.
Mhm.
And basically they're at like she'd be down, she doesn't think he's down. And they're trying to figure that out.
Okay.
All right. So but my wife and her have been hanging out once a week. So like I'm like, okay, maybe there's hope. Like they are kind of making progress, and like they see each other at the gym. They do butt day together.
I'm
It's like
sorry.
butt day.
Go on.
They like work out on their butts at the
Oh,
gym. Like, what do you think butt day was? They don't like play with each other's butts, but they like
what
so
I
it's distracting because they'll
that's
be
what
in
I
the
thought you said.
gym like doing butt stuff and like touching each other's butts to like, you know, make sure their form is better. So it is quite distracting. It's hard to work out and run. But anyway, so I was out of town this past weekend and they were gonna hang out again to go to like dinner. And then apparently afterwards they went to back to my place.
Just them two.
Just the two of them, the
Okay.
two girls, my wife
Okay.
and her. Um, and my wife told me they just watched a movie. But when I got home from my work trip, my office looked like disorganized. Like when you can tell someone's been in your space
Uh-huh.
because like the camera's off and the chair's not how you left it. So I was like suspicious. I was like, "You guys just watched movies?" And she's like, "Yeah," but like I can tell they had been in my office, right? So anyway, I was like, hey, did you guys take any selfies? Because I just wanted to see if they took any pictures. And my wife got so fucking weird. She took her phone and like ran out of the room. And I was like, what the fuck's happening, dude? Like, what happened when I wasn't here? I actually wasn't from like a place of frustration or like fear. I was just like, tell me, I want to know. Like, did
Right.
you hook up with her? Because that's awesome.
Right.
And my wife was being so weird. And like I had to kind of chase her around the house to try to get her phone from her. She's like, no, you can't have my phone. You can't have my phone. Dude, it turns out, so remember they met at the gym 3 months ago. My wife was trying to surprise me for my birthday.
Oh! Oh
My
my
wife
god.
was trying to surprise me by doing like a boudoir shoot. And she had asked this girl if she knew any photographers. And the gym friend said, I will come take the photos for you. And so they had taken like 300 plus photos that night when I was gone. And so I kind of ruined the surprise. My wife like pulled out. She had just gotten the pictures printed that day.
Oh,
But like, look,
that's
I,
really
br-
sweet.
I
I
brought,
didn't know where
I brought you
oh
some
my
to
god.
check out.
Oh my god. Stop.
Look at that.
Stop. I'm
They took
literally
all these photos. I
oh
know,
my
right?
god, your wife
So I
in
feel so
red?
bad, but like I love the arc that we met these people at the gym. I walked up to them randomly trying to find out if they were someone that they weren't, and now they've gotten to the point that she brought her over and they took these photos of them. So I think that there's hope. Like if they can be together at this level of like sexiness and vulnerability, there's this is progress, Layla.
I'm literally not listening to a
Layla's
word
not
you're
listening to me,
saying.
people, because she's looking at these pictures.
Oh my
I love how they're in the
god.
camera so people can only see the back the back of it too.
Wow, God, she she's amazing. Okay, I was not sure exactly where the story was going, so when you started being like, "Yeah, and she said that we just watched they just watched a movie," and I'm like, "Is this okay to talk about on the
No,
pod?" Like, I
yeah,
don't know what's going on, but she's being fucking weird.
they were being weird and they were lying,
Oh,
but it was to surprise me and I
that's
like
really sweet. What
so
an
sweet.
angel. Okay, so Gym Girl was taking the pictures.
Yeah. And she was bossing her around. There's a couple videos I'll show you afterwards where like she was telling my wife what to do with her hand. She's like, stick your ass out. No, I need to see your ass bigger. Hands that like she was doming the shit out of my wife during the photo session.
When your wife was living for it.
It was a mess up there. It was a mess.
Okay,
So this is progress.
it's okay, it is progress. That's so cool.
This is progress.
That's really
In spite
cool.
of what I just said, people about not making your friends E&M,
Just do it
we're just
anyway.
like we're just like giving it a shot this time, and we have to for the plot. And this is progress. I mean, they saw each other naked. You know that is progress.
How does she look naked? Oh, that's probably
I
inappropriate.
wasn't there. I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh my god,
We're
this
gonna
is
find out.
so cute.
All right, so we will keep keeping people up to date about this.
The
All
gym
right,
couple.
about this. All right, before we go, wrap it.
Okay.
Are you still dating someone?
I don't know.
Oh my god,
I mean,
you were so pumped, and he was like the perfect match for you. And
I know. I think like we keep running into this roadblock where we're like, oh, like I want to see you. I want to see you too. And then a week will go by. When can I see you? Oh yeah, when can I see you? And neither one of us were actually making the plans. And so the other day I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I'll do it. So I reached and I hadn't seen him honestly since our hotel date, which was like a month ago. And he lives like 30 minutes from me. But I mean, he travels a lot, like his deal. And so I reached out to him the other day and I was like, "Hey, like I'd love to see you." And he's like, "I'm not available. I'm not free to hang out until like the middle of March." And when you're really like when you're actually into somebody, you'll make a priority,
right,
right?
right,
And so I felt a little disappointed that he didn't want to make me kind of a priority, but I'm still open to keep a partnership with him because it is different than anything I'd ever explored before. And I'm open to, continuing that type of relationship and dynamic, but it isn't, I want someone to be excited about me.
right, right. And it seems like now he's kind of like, yeah, I'm down to hang out, but it's not. Yeah,
Right.
he's not like itching for it, or
Yeah.
that sucks.
So, I mean, it is what it is. And like, I think Layla, speaking, on the topic of growth, I think Layla a year ago would have kind of maybe even told him off a little bit and been like, you know what, forget it.
Yeah,
Forget it. Forget all this. And Layla today is like, you know what? That's fine. Whatever space he can give to me, I will gladly accept that.
that's what I love. Yo, just have some fun in the meantime. Why
Yeah.
not? Why
Yeah.
not? You deserve that.
Right.
You put so much out in the world for me, for the listeners, for the people that you're helping. I think you get to have some fun in the meantime.
Right.
And we're 2 months into the year.
Right.
Like the goal is to have a relationship this year. We got 10 months left.
Yep. So we'll see. I don't know. I was having I think this is probably a topic for another day, but I'll just for whatever. My poly experience has been entirely different than my husband's poly experience because I've only dated 2 people in
Mhm.
the almost 5 years we've been in the lifestyle, and they weren't super long relationships either, where my husband's had a lot not a lot, but has had, well, much more
Right. Right. Right.
serious, consistent relationships than I ever had. So, I think I just get, like, annoyed with him when he's like, "Oh my god, polyamory is so great and wonderful," and I'm like, "That's because you haven't really had to experience what I've had to
I know you're the
experience."
frustrated side where like you get a ton of likes, but not the relationship.
Right.
And he's the other side.
Yes.
It's coming this year though. This is just the first step.
We'll
And that's why we want
see.
to keep, no, it's happening. No, it is
But
happening.
here's the thing,
Do some
Brian,
breath work.
I'm okay with do some breath work. Just breathe about it. I'm okay with not now. Where before, even in December when we were talking about it, I was like, "I really want a boyfriend." And now I'm like, "I'm my own fucking boyfriend. I rock. I really don't need I don't need something the way that I thought I needed something before. If it happens organically, cool. If I never get in a relationship ever again and I just watch my husband, fall in love with other people, I get to practice compersion, I'm cool with that too.
I know you are, and it's gonna happen. I'm just like putting I'm not coming off of it. It's gonna happen this year.
You're gonna set me up?
It's happening. I will try my best.
Okay.
I will keep yes. People, I'm gonna keep an eye out for Layla.
Okay.
Oh man. All right. We gotta wrap up.
Yes.
We gotta wrap up. Thank you guys for hopping on another episode. And we hope that you enjoyed these updates. There's more to come 'cause we have so much stuff we're working on. That's it for this episode of the Mass Swingers. Thank you all for tuning in. If you love this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until we see you next time, try something or try someone new.
I breathed.
Breathwork.